Hello, I'm Denise LaFrance. Coming up on City Beat, it's a celebration. We here at the City of Las Cruces Public Information Office have marked our 100th episode of City Beat, a look back on some of the events we've covered. He's a new assistant city manager for the City of Las Cruces, but he's not new to the city. An introduction to David Dollahan. After several years of planning and anticipation, the Veterans Memorial is steps closer to what many have envisioned, and getting younger people involved in agriculture, what the AgriFuture Conference is all about. That and more just ahead. Hello and welcome to City Beat for the month of April. Well, this month marks a milestone for City Beat. A little later, we'll give you a look through just some of what we've covered in our 100 episodes. But first, the City of Las Cruces is celebrating a promotion. David Dollahan was recently promoted in February from the Director of Community and Cultural Services to a recently vacated Assistant City Manager position. CLC TV's Jennifer Martinez reintroduces us to Mr. Dollahan and what he hopes he can bring to the City of Las Cruces.
Las Cruces' newest assistant city manager has a long history with the city. David Dollahan has held many positions within the city, spanning back nearly 30 years in community development, planning most of the way.
I would consider the City of Las Cruces my only employer in my professional career, so I'm very fortunate in that regard, and they're a great employer.
Dollahan says he started out as an intern in 1990.
My first job at the city was doing a land use inventory, and then I transitioned to putting tubes out on the road to count cars, which is probably the most dangerous job I've ever had.
Without being deterred from the danger, Dollahan was later hired as a planning technician, an assistant planner for transportation, a planner for zoning, then a senior planner, a supervisor, and then a planning and neighborhood services supervisor, a position he held for 12 years.
And then in 2013, I was moved on an acting basis to Community and Cultural Services with a transition that was occurring there, and spent 3 years there. And then the opportunity came up for the Assistant City Manager's Chief Administrative Officer's job.
The Chief Administrative Officer is responsible for the Finance and Human Resources Departments, Public Information Office, Internal Audit, Council and Constituent Services, and Information Technology.
I knew from the other side, having worked in community development and cultural service, as well as cultural services, I was a user of all of the internal administrative functions. I knew where I felt I could make a difference and see that we serve the public indirectly through administrative services by serving the rest of the city organization.
Thank you, Jen and David. David has pointed out that he is a very approachable person who invites input not only from members of city staff, but also members of the community. The City of Las Cruces also has a new face at Municipal Court. City Council voted unanimously on March 7th. To appoint Kent Yalcutt to the open position created when Judge Kieran Ryan was elected to the presiding judge position last November. Yalcutt will serve until November of 2017 when the next election for the judge position is held. The Vietnam War Memorial at Veterans Memorial Park on Roadrunner Parkway in Las Cruces has a new Huey helicopter on display. Residents gathered in late March to rededicate the monument. Here's a glimpse at the new addition and what people are saying about the new look.
It's groups like Art and the other car clubs that helped fund this, and we greatly appreciate it going toward maintaining the monument. Thank you.
Okay, we're now at the 2-minute warning, so bear with us for another couple of minutes. If you have chairs, you can take your seat. If you don't have chairs, God bless you. I don't have a chair myself.
Well, today marks the end of a long journey, almost 7 years, of a dream from Joe Martinez to create a veteran memorial for the Vietnam vets. And so this marks the end of it. We had a dedication last year for, if you will, the hard structure, which is the walls and so forth. But the second part of that was to erect the icon of the Vietnam War, which is the Huey helicopter.
So one of my cousins, for like the second year after that was dedicated, brought a friend of his who was retired Navy, and my cousin is retired Navy, and he came out to do the march. And we always make a pilgrimage to the park so that everybody can see the statue. And in the course of that visit, his friend, a man by the name of Dan Neerinks from San Diego, was walking through the park and made the comment to my cousin David and I that, man, this is a great park for a community this size. And then he turned to me and he said, where's your Vietnam memorial? And my face kind of went ashen and, oh, you know what, we don't have one. And of course it kind of embarrassed me because that was my time. I mean, that was the era that I was involved in anything, and I lost a lot of friends in Vietnam. So consequently, over the next couple of days, my wife was kind of concerned because I was kind of moping around, and she said, what's the matter with you? I said, I don't know. Dan kind of embarrassed me because we haven't done anything for Vietnam. And so she got that little smile a wife can give you, and she said, you know what to do. So that night, she and I sat on our dining room table and designed that memorial.
I don't know if there's anybody here today who doesn't thrill to the sound of those blades. That familiar whop, whop, whop is the soundtrack of our war.
The way the thing is designed, we have room for 700 bricks. And the bricks are available to anybody that served during that time, not necessarily a boots-on-the-ground veteran, but anybody that served. My philosophy always was that if you were a clerk typist in Oklahoma, and it was during that time, you could have got the phone call or a memorandum immediately, and you'd have had to been over there. So I'm not penalizing anybody. If they were in the service during that era, they deserve to be part of the monument. And it really is, in my estimation, it's a national monument. You know, and I think that as it goes, we'll get national recognition for this. You won't find one of this caliber anywhere in the area.
Thanks to everyone who came out to make this possible and for all those who serve our military. The city's Park and Recreation Department is also working on the archery range on the East Mesa that we told you about a few months ago. We caught up with Parks and Rec Administrator Mark Johnston for a brief description of what residents might soon see out there.
Visually, there'll be staggered targets. The targets will be in place for all to use. There'll be a series of targets from beginner to expert. Parking area, a very open area. It's about 30 acres. Of course, we won't use the entire 30 acres to begin with, and over the course of time, we'll actually add to the archery range, much the same as we have with the Butterfield shooting range.
And if you are heading out to the range or any park, remember the mosquito season is gearing up again and runs through late fall. We're beginning to fog and spray again. The rain season is approaching, and what we all can do is remove standing water from our property. Wear long sleeve shirts and long pants. Use insect repellent that contains DEET. We've been hearing a lot about the Zika virus lately, but West Nile still poses a threat in our area. Prevention is the best course of action. The city is preparing its pools for the upcoming summer season, which is unofficially marked by Memorial Day on May 30th. Details on which city offices will be closed and which services will remain open, plus other topics ahead in our City Minute. Las Cruces is proposing a form-based code, which is a detailed plan for the downtown area, and you can weigh in. The code could lead to development flexibility and predictability for property owners, a mix of uses within urban setting, a better blend of downtown environment with historic neighborhoods, and preservation of historic downtown elements. You can comment on a draft at the plan at las-cruces.org until April 22nd, or call Downtown Coordinator Andy Hume at 528-3022. Start planning ahead. City Hall and many city offices will close in observance of Memorial Day on Monday, May 30th. Police and fire services will not be affected. This is also the time of year when the outdoor pools begin to open for the season. Here is a list of some of the closures and modifications. To see a complete list, head to the news tab at las-cruces.org. The Country Music Festival is April 29th through May 1st. This year's lineup includes the Nitty Gritty Dirt Band, Cam, David Nail, and more. To see the full schedule and get your tickets, head to lascrucescountrymusic.com. 60 and a half years old. That's the average age of farmers and ranchers in New Mexico, who will produce the state's famous chili, pecans, onions, and dairy products going forward. A conference happening in Las Cruces this May aims to inspire the next generation. CLC TV's Udelvi Hill has more in this month's Ask the.
Hello and welcome. Our guest for this edition of ASTA is New Mexico Agriculture Secretary Jeff Witte. In May, NMDA and other ag groups will host a conference in Las Cruces to inspire the next generation of farmers and ranchers. Secretary Witte, thank you for joining us on Ask Down.
Thank you, Udell.
Sounds like there's a tremendous need to keep young people involved in the state's agricultural community. Of course, we have to replace retiring farmers and ranchers, but are there other reasons why the young people should be involved in agriculture?
Oh, you bet. You know, New Mexico is ranked as the second oldest state in the nation when it comes to agricultural producers. We're a little over 60 years old, and the world seeks our food. There's so many opportunities in production agriculture coming down, and in today's environment, it's really enlightening when you see when I go talk to college classes and you see the interest in young folks getting back into production agriculture.
What opportunities exist today for young people that perhaps didn't exist a while back?
Well, as the world population continues to grow, there's a tremendous demand for food, naturally, just for main substance. But today, the world sees the food produced in the United States as the safest ever, safest in the world. And there's a tremendous demand for that food all across the world and in the United States. And our young folks, with their college education, with their hands-on skills, the things they've learned from their fathers and grandfathers and grandmothers and mothers, they really can bring the best of history with the current education practices and really produce what we need.
Very good. Now tell us more about the conference and how it can help inspire young people to make a life in that.
You bet. We're excited about this. This will be the second AgriFuture conference that we've held in the state of New Mexico. We're doing this on a 2-year cycle, and the first one was 2 years ago. The conference 2 years ago attracted almost 200 people and really exceeded our expectations on the interest. The conference this year will be May 16th through the 18th here in Las Cruces. It's a great deal for the young folks. This conference for $50 plus a few administrative fees for registration, around $55. Young conference attendees, 40 and under, we'll feed them. They're going to get educational seminars about opportunities. They're going to meet with real producers who are actually getting it done. We're not talking theories at this conference. This is actual people getting it done today. And really, we're going to be talking about farm to retail. We're going to be talking about value added and international agricultural opportunities over the 3 days. We'll be doing tours around Doña Ana County, and they'll also have an opportunity to have supper one night with a ag producer.
Wow, sounds really good. So where can people get more information about the conference?
You know, the easiest place to get information for this conference and anything dealing with the Department of Agriculture is on our NMDA website. nmda.nmsu.edu, www, of course, ahead of that. We'll have announcements, and then like us on Facebook. We've got a tremendous Facebook page. It's always up to date, and there'll be information for registration at that point in time.
Terrific. Well, New Mexico Secretary of Agriculture, Jeff Witte, thank you very much for joining us.
Thank you. My pleasure. Thank you.
Thanks, Udell. Again, the AgriFuture Conference is Monday, May 16th through Wednesday, the 18th. The conference is held at the Ramada Hotel and Conference Center on University Avenue. Well, it's here, your 100th episode of our news magazine, which began back in the summer of 2007. Some interesting and fun topics we've covered since we began 9 years ago. We hope you enjoyed this. Thanks for joining us. I'm Denise LaFrance.
You're watching City Beat with your host, Denise LaFrance.
Hello everyone, I'm Denise LaFrance and welcome to the first edition of this new series called City Beat here on CLC TV. Election day has come and gone, but not without a few changes to our city council. Las Cruces voters elected a new mayor and 2 new faces to city council seats.
Traffic control program would target streets like this one, where traffic is constant and mostly exceeds the posted speed limit.
Well, hard hats and shovels will now be the scene of 700 North Main Street, right where the new City Hall will go. The city will be installing red light traffic cameras such as these they already have in El Paso, hoping to catch more red light runners and decrease accidents at our intersections. Construction will soon begin on the city's first convention center. We're standing right outside the new City Hall with Eric Martin, project manager for the city of Las Cruces, who's going to give us an exclusive tour inside. If you own a cell phone, you should be careful where you use it. Las Cruces City Councilors have approved a ban on talking on the cell phone while driving. It's now 2011, meaning it's a new year, a new start, and a new city manager for Las Cruces. In December, City Council unanimously voted to approve Robert Garza to head our city.
So when you're riding your bike and you're preparing to make a turn, be sure to use the proper hand signals. If you're going to make a right-hand turn, be sure to hold your arm up like this.
And this marks our 50th episode of City Beat here on CLC TV. CLC TV captured this video of the Space Shuttle Endeavour as it did its flyover to California.
If there's a city job that you'd like to learn more about, contact us at clctv.com. Here on the West Mesa, thousands of pounds of human waste are baking, so your landscaping and gardening can benefit.
I'm at the Las Cruces Farmers and Crafts Market downtown because I've heard it's one of the best in the nation and that you can get pretty much everything here. So I'll go and check it out.
Not every city employee gets to do all this fun stuff, so I say that I'm pretty lucky to get these opportunities. Sure, I learn about a lot of things through these City Jobs episodes, but I really give the credit to the folks who are putting aside what they do on a daily basis to make the holidays brighter, and knowing that they'll still have work waiting for them while they were putting up the lights or decorating.
When we get called to a call, no matter what it may or may not be, until we decide that it's not an explosive device or an IED, any kind of bomb, then to us, we treat it as it is. And until we know it's not, that's why we generally keep everybody way away.
Hello and welcome. Our guest for this edition of ASTA is country music sensation Bree Bagwell, who also happens to be from Las Cruces. Bree, thank you for taking time out of your hectic schedule to be with us.
Thank you so much for having me.
CLC TV's Dominic Aragon shows us. Oh, I forgot to put there. I forgot to put our. How? Jeez. In the race for mayor, incumbent and several times in the past month to various move-in is scheduled for the new City Hall, and it's a free showing to a documentary you won't want to miss. And as a reminder, the city of Las Cruces will be closed for October. Oh my goodness. I'm sorry. Kitty socks, kitty. 3, 2, movie. Ooh. Wow. Thanks, Udell. That's all for this episode of City Beat. God, can I do one thing? Hello and welcome to City Beat for the month of... What the heck? Okay, hold on. Let me do Bob. That is all the time we have for this episode of City Beat. Be sure to stay tuned to CLC TV for your latest city news and catch new City Beat episodes the first Saturday of each month at 6 p.m. City Council meetings can be viewed live every Monday at 1 p.m. as well as archived video on clctv.com. Also, don't forget to like us on our Facebook page. Thanks for joining us. I'm Denise LaFrance.